Hi guys, so we've now done 1700 miles in the F90 M5. Run-in service was done at 1200 miles. I've done around 500 of those miles, so I think it's time to give an initial driving impressions video of the car. So obviously the biggest thing that I've noticed with this is the amount of traction it has. It is the first M5 that's actually got four-wheel drive, and for the purists out there, you can switch it to rear-wheel drive if you want to have some fun with the tail end. But to be honest with you, the way the four-wheel drive is set up, I've been quite impressed with it. It's not too boring, so it kind of, you can feel that it's got a rear bias, which is good, and it's a bit unnerving because I'm used to cars going straight to like oversteer, but this one kind of understeers a little bit, and then you can put your foot on the throttle and then the front wheels gain traction, and then it will just pull you around the corner. The cornering speeds I'm able to get in the F90 M5 compared to the F10 is the difference is absolutely huge. It really beggars belief that this is a really big car, and even slightly bigger than the F10, because I can corner this like a proper sports car. The F10 was, in my opinion, it was quite boaty, but the advantage the F10 had was that I think it was slightly more comfortable. This car does feel a lot stiffer, and in that regards, I'm not sure what they're going to do with the competition pack. Body roll is already very minimal for a big car, but I think in comfort suspension, this could have been a little bit more comfortable. I think they've tried to improve the handling so much, they've foregone the comfort levels that a big luxury car should have, which the F10 had in spades. I mean, this is completely stock, and my F10 had the KW Has kit, had 21-inch wheels, it was quite low, and in comfort mode the F10 was still more compliant and smooth than this F90 is, which I'm quite surprised about. And especially when you've got different suspension settings, I think they should have made comfort damping a bit more compliant. But I mean, whether that's got something to do with the spring rates they've used to make the car handle that much better, I'm not 100% sure. I guess we'll find out when we start changing the springs out, and we can probably look at the spring rates they've used. So I think the first suspension mod we're going to do is the KW Has kit, because that's just been released, and then we'll see where we go from there. But in terms of F10 versus F90, again, the interior in this car is a massive step up from the F10. The quality, the materials that are used, the small design features, the dash obviously is fully digital, the headlining's all Alcantara from the factory, it's got full leather standard. The standard Harman Kardon system is actually very good. I'm still getting used to all the kind of controls. It's got the hand gesture controls as well, which I'm still getting used to, so you can turn the volume up and down with the hand gestures, which is quite cool. Apart from that, I mean, the car obviously is devastatingly quick. Now we've done in the run-in service, and I have taken the car to the track, as you've seen, and did 11.6 at 126 miles an hour, quarter mile, and I think the car is capable of low 11s in stock form. I wasn't able to use the launch control, so I think that would knock at least 0.3, 0.4 seconds off. I don't think we're going to get to the track again while the car is standard to test that. Also done 0 to 60 and 0 to 100. So 0 to 60 was 3.4 and 0 to 100 was 7.7, again without launch control, so I think those times can be bettered a little bit. But I mean, just the way it corners for a big car is just, I can't get my head around it yet at the moment. Is there, you can just feel understeer, and you can just accelerate back out of the roundabout, but it's very flat. So for a big car, and the conclusion is it just handles really well for a big car. You can't really appreciate how well it handles, I think, until you actually drive one. But then for me, I think the M5 needs to be a really split personality and have the comfort and then also have the handling capabilities. And I think in this they've gone more towards the handling capabilities than they have the comfort. But I mean, again, UK roads are not the best, so maybe on the smooth sort of tarmac surfaces in Germany that it's a lot better. But that's sort of one area where I can say I'm not really happy with the car. This car, obviously we spec'd it with sports exhaust as well, which actually sounds really good. It has just that slightly more throaty sound than the stock exhaust, so you don't feel like you need to change the exhaust straight away, which I normally do on an M car. But I'm sure we will change it at some point anyway. So in terms of different driving modes, it's got four-wheel drive, and then you can put it in MDM, which allows a little bit more slip. But to be honest with you, in dry conditions like this anyway, I've not even seen the traction light come on at all. And then if you set the M2 button up, you push it once, it'll ask you to confirm, and then you're basically in DSC off two-wheel drive, which is more like the old car in MDM. And the gearbox, even though it's not DCT, I'm going to be honest, it's actually very fast. I'm just in manual on the fastest, and you can hear the shifts are actually very quick. I think that if you didn't tell somebody that it wasn't dual clutch, they'd be hard pushed to find, actually tell you that it's a normal auto box, which is quite impressive. I know a lot of people have been wondering about the change from the DCT to more traditional ZF, but it's very, very good. I mean, the first time I drove an X5 M in the F series platform, I was very impressed with the gearbox for a normal auto, and this is no different. So this is in two wheels, so it just allows you to, but still the grip is very good. I don't know what we're flying there. I think it's my daughter's car seat wasn't in properly. So we're still sort of just starting the journey with this car. Just wanted to give it initial driving impressions. I'm sure my impressions will change over time as we spend more time with the car. I can give you a bit more rundown on the features it has. I mean, it's loaded with tech. It's got a lot of tech, I think, from the 7 series, which has filtered down to this now. So the F10 was fairly basic in terms of technology, but in comparison anyway, this is very, very highly spec'd, just without any loading it with any options. I will also be interested to see how much of that sound that's coming through is actually the active sound compared to what the real sound is like from outside. I'm sure we'll disable it at some point. The only other small niggle we've had with the car is, I'm not sure if any other owners have had this, if you have, just reach out to us and let us know, is that every now and again the car just kind of revs up itself when it's in, when you're just stationary to like 1500 RPM and then just drops down again. I'll give the dealers a call and see if there's any software updates available for the car yet, to see if that rectifies it. But as with any new car, I expect some small niggles while they're out in the wild. I'm sure they'll get ironed out as time goes on. But overall, really happy with the car. It's a massive step up from the F10. I think we'll probably do a comparison video as well, so direct comparison while we've still got the F10, just to give our impressions on what the main differences are. but I'm being really impressed with this car. The styling I think is bang on. The quality just seems to have taken a massive step up, which I would expect because the list price is actually a lot higher than the F10 was, and you'd expect for the amount of extra money they're asking for the car that the car needs to take a step up, and I think it really has. The cockpit is just a really nice place to be. It kind of feels like it wraps around you. Even though you're not going to be using the gear shifter that much, it's literally in kind of the most perfect position it can be. The seat has so many adjustments. You can get it into like the perfect position for you. The headrest moves up and down. The back of the seat actually got 2 pivot points, so it's very supportive. You can make the bolsters come in as well, so it feels more like a sports seat. And on the heated seats, you can actually make it come quite far up the back of the seat as well, which is reminiscent of what the old E60 M5 used to have as well. But yeah, that kind of stuff. I'm still learning about the car. Obviously, being a guy, I don't read the manual, so just find things by pushing buttons and finding out what they do. There, so you have to accidentally turn. That is one thing about the gesture control. You can accidentally make the volume go up or down. So the other day I was with some guests in the car, and he uses a lot of hand gestures while he's speaking, and he put the volume up very high while we were talking, and everyone was wondering what was going on. But yeah, it was quite funny. Obviously, in terms of the brakes, we didn't go for the ceramic brakes on this. My main reasoning was because it's an expensive option, and the rear calipers still don't look like they're not multi-piston calipers. So I guess at some point for aesthetics, we may change the brake setup so we've got bigger calipers on the back. But in terms of like for normal road use, the brakes do seem like they're pretty good. They've got nice feel about them. I mean, on the F10 I had stock brake discs, pads and everything, and I was at VMAX stopping from 200 miles an hour without any issues. The only thing we changed was the fluid for some uprated fluid. But I mean, this is not designed as a track car. If you know, on other cars that we have, that if we take them to a track, we do change at least the fluid and the brake pads, if not the whole brake system. But for me, this is not a track car, so I'm not sure if it actually needs anything, not for road use anyway. So yeah, I'll get some more miles on the car, spend some more time with it, and then give a sort of more detailed review. If there's anything in particular you want us to cover about the car, whether it be MPG, what it's like to live as a daily driver or anything like that, please do let us know so we can kind of answer those questions for you. I'm never one to actually look at miles per gallon, but on a mixture of driving, it's doing 22.5 MPG at the moment. But I know it's important to some people, so if you guys want us to monitor that, we can do. And that's been a mixture of sort of motorway driving, cruising, going to the track, and actually doing some timed runs as well. So that's, if you're just using it for daily commute, I'm sure that you'll get much better MPG than that. So guys, that's my initial impressions of the F90 M5. As I said, I'm very impressed with it. The interior is a massive step up from the F10 M5. It handles really well. I can go around the corners much faster than I could in the F10. The F10 was quite boaty. This is very flat with a four-wheel drive system. It's got a lot of grip. The gearbox, even though it's not DCT, is actually very impressive. I was thinking that the gearbox would be a real letdown, but it's not. The fact that it's still got a switchable two-wheel drive is a great plus if you want to have a two-wheel drive option and not be stuck with four-wheel drive all the time. Overall, really happy with it. Obviously, we're going to do a more detailed review once I've spent more time with the car. I've only done 1,700 miles, so once I've done maybe 3,000, I can give you some more impressions about what the car's like to live with on a daily basis and provide a bit more insight in comparison with the F10. The next stage for us with this car is to start doing some slight cosmetic tweaks to it. So we have a KW has kit ready to go on, the RKP rear diffuser, which has just been launched, and the Axion rear deflector defeat. So if you stay in touch with the channel, keep an eye on what we're doing. We're going to try and document as much as we can on the F90, so to give you guys a real insight about what the car's about. So until next time, see you then. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you want to see more of this project, you can watch that over here. If you want to watch what YouTube suggests you might like from our other videos, you can watch that over here. As always, if you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. And if you've got any questions for us, please drop them in the comments below and we'll do our best to answer them for you.